Interlining line connection signals to gamma operation center positions is opening up traction of higher lines. It's high rise and division level system, illumination, everything through plasmas. So it's all connected to our mainframes. You understand what you are when you come into phenomenon. The phenomenon itself changes its shape into its cosmos. So just imagine you have so much interference of eye receptacles that are connected to all shapes, anomalies, of colors, and patterns. It interlines connections to the radiation of the sun and everything through the operations of the moon. So it's space location to its position. So when you see things through perception, your eyes change framing to its line system. Now I sent you pictures on the private link. Very powerful. The cosmic and its levels of its connection. I was on the rooftop last night, and I was sending out cosmic waves. Those are energy lights of different shapes and anomalies. It connects in all ways and forms. How it formulates everything through your perception. It's what you see through locations, and also set up a new location vibrational signal to everybody that's coming into their higher self. You can actually see the resonance, right? You can see the plasma. You can see how powerful the light is. So the thing is truly understanding the interline connection to yourself, your body frames, and your positions, your gravity centers, and everything. The earth is in its core system, right? So whatever you project in your mind is your creation of your thoughts. Okay, so you have to imagine that what you can see in your eye. Okay, and I was going through transformation, I was scanning planets. So if you take a picture of your eye really, really close, you can actually see yourself flying in your eye. It's really powerful, powerful stuff. Everything inside you is space. You have to remember that. Everything in the mind, everything in the brain location. The brain is everything to the base. The satellite, it has to have a base. It has to have its position, right? Everything is on a connection. It's on a ground, right? So you're on the ground. It doesn't matter if you travel back and forth in your physical system. You just have to understand every time you move around per second, or anything in that connection, you're changing framing positions and locations. So it line signals channels to operation positions and opens up everything through location. All right. So other than that, I hope everybody's doing well through connections. Formatting everything through lights and signals and channel operations and positions. Truly understanding what's going on through the cosmos is changing the universe, is changing all levels of shapes. Just imagine that your interlines and your brainwaves and your patterns and your location positions. So just hold on one sec. So keeping the operation center positioned is really important to the body, because you have to understand that we connect in all ways and forms. So think of your body as electrical light that's really trying to understand what's going on with the universe, the cosmos, and your planet system, which is its Earth, right? Because it triangulates, it communicates the prothesis, the gamma thesis, the trithesis, and everything through this connection of electrical lights and everything in your program setting is trying to understand who you are. So the communication cycles, everybody, it's an attraction of higher self, connections to the avatar, is basically changing shapes, colorations. So your holographic system, your shapes and anomalies, your attractions, and everything through the way you see yourself, the way you do things, the way you act upon, the way you move, the way you react, the way you put yourselves in higher positions of time, positions of travels. Putting yourself in this connection high rises everything to its force. Okay, so it's truly understanding this is all done, okay, into the cosmos. The cosmos is coming into a new realm. It's coming into a new position of time. It's coming into a new portal of a division of time. It's coming into a new light of time. Space in itself is really, really, really powerful when it comes into all of us. So the space inside us gives us what we need through manifestation, because you create everything through your universal system. Imagine that. You can have your own universal system. You just have to understand how to operate it through the mind. Ask yourself, what is the mind? What does it do for me? I have it, but a lot of people don't know how to use it. That's the problem. That's the problem we're coming across when it comes to anything through humanity. Humanity has to really understand attractions. What is attraction? What is a form of attraction? Okay. So your positions of time is the fifth dimensional of communication, of telepathy. We're in that full cycle now. Okay. So it's all about understanding your connections of your birthing system. Okay. Why you're born. Why am I born? Right? Male or female or children. You have to understand there's a purpose of life. There's a creation, and it's up to us to understand how to use everything. Better way of using our phones, communicating with our phones, right? Communicating with how to use water, how to drink water, right? Everybody knows how to drink water, but what are you drinking, right? So it's all about protecting yourself through your lights or anything, through plasmas or anything through that connection. So, and water does the body good, especially when you're traveling. But I get confirmation signals from Cosmos last night, and the cosmic levels of the magnetic force and highway information setting is setting up new codes to its universe. So there's universal systems that are set up to TV reception positions. We have to understand more when it comes into connections. And when I say we, I mean humanity, as in coming into one line signal, trying to understand, oh, I know this person from afar. I know this person from above, or I know this person from below. So truly, okay, I understand the intelligence now. It's a lower frequency, but I still understand I'm getting balance. So it's all about you getting balance with your shapes, your letters, and your numbers. If you want to communicate with the universe, you have to know how to use these things, because your whole mind is nothing but an illustration. It's a creation. It's a dream. Okay? So to the physical system, it truly understands your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. You know how to write, you know how to spell, you know how to talk, right? A lot of people don't know how to do that. So they try their best to, get into those levels. That's all connected to the brain waves. But in position, the one thing that never leaves is your mind. Your mind is always there for you. But to understand the universe, you have to understand the codes. And I've given you so many levels when it comes to security line defense. So we're going to get it more into the cosmos. Okay. Dina, how's it going? Yeah, I'm in a new position. I'm in a new atmosphere right now, in a new room. So that's why it's blinkety blink. It's really, really bright, right? And everything that you see through reception, like look at this, see the reflection, see that? See how my face changes when I go back, right? And I go forward, you come into the light. See how it changes, the reflection, right? Everything is a reflection to you. So, once you understand that through connections, you truly understand how to use your TV reception lines or anything through that connection line system. So put yourself in that position on communication. So if you understand your connections of your line signals and triangle position line communication, you're coming into relation of time position, and it's going to change all your levels of activation circles. Okay? Circles are what make you your shapes. Understanding everything in the universe. I'm on a swivel chair here. Sometimes I feel like a seesaw, or I feel like swirling around the chair, you know. So we just have to remember, kind of like understand, when we see something in our mind and we see something through creation and we see something from a dream, you have to understand that is the mind. When you sleep, that is your mind opening. So it's all about you being aware. When you sleep, you're awakening cosmos, you're awakening the universe, you're awakening everything through dimensions of doors. Just imagine when you're sleeping, you have no control whatsoever when you sleep. Okay? You wake up and you're confused. Why are you confused? Why? Because you can't balance the mind. So it's going to be a seesaw, right? Sometimes you're up, right? And that person's trying to get down. Let me down, let me down. I did that with my daughters on the seesaw, and I go down like this and she's way up here, right? So you got to counterbalance your mind, right? And your dreams, your colorations of your dreams, your dream set positions, your TV reception, your everything through projection, guys. Your whole life is a projection. Your whole life is a life of a projection. You have to understand how to use this to its mind. You have to balance the mind, because that's the creation. Now, the brain is the setting position. It's the base, it's the satellite, it's the Wi-Fi, okay? So just put it in one triangular force and put it on the ground formation and let it just sit there. Let it just sit there. It doesn't matter where you go. Everywhere you go, you're magnetic to everything through the universe. So it lines signals and it's operating you through vibration and it's setting course, okay? I did a video when I was talking about the cosmos and the universe and all that, and you saw my blinkety blink shirt go off like this, red. I'll send you the link right after this video. It's really powerful. I was connecting the universe and the cosmos, and I was changing traction, the position, the colors, and it was changing colors. It was red, but it was lighting. It was lighting up my body. So it was telling me what I can do. Imagine that, balancing with coloration through your body. That alone is powerful. So it's understanding more of yourself through connections. Humanity has to get into traction of wires, okay? Because everything in the atmosphere is a magnetic charge. You got discharge, right? If we lose the atmospheres of the earth, what happens? All the birds stop flying, okay? So if you put yourself in that connection, you truly understand more what the universal system is, you're going to get a better idea how to balance out the mind through its position of time and space, okay? So I hope everybody's doing well. Feel free to subscribe, like, and share to my channel. Anything through donations, referring to the videos, it's important that you guys truly understand what you're doing through your body, okay? And the videos I've done is for everybody, okay? Everybody's at a different path, and that's what's exciting. You see the universe as I see the universe differently. Okay, everybody creates their own journey, their own missions, their own shapes, anomalies, letters, and numbers. So to communicate, you have to understand your codes of your vibration to your system. So you have to have balance with this creation of its mind. Okay? You have to counterbalance, okay, everything. Right? So you gotta have balance in your life. That's what you need. That's what everybody needs to have. And humanity's coming into that. But the thing is too, is they have to truly understand, talk about A, B's, and C's. It's amazing how a digital pad can actually look at my body frame and know exactly what I'm looking at. So if I'm looking at the computer and I'm going through my voice grid patterns, this digital frame, okay, will come into a calculation modification to balance and, find a way to say something that's similar or say something that is in balance to its position in its mainframe. So if I start talking about A, B's, and C's, the digital pad is going to come into form. So it's all about the electrical lights of you through your body frame and how you can connect to balance with its marker or anything with its connection. Right? So you're getting balance with your life through vibration. Okay, because that's how we live. Our thoughts are vibration. As soon as I transfer my lines or anything through my thoughts, it's a hum, right? So it's a hum. It's a hum. It's a hum, right? It's a hum. It's a tone. It's a vibration. It's a frequency, right? Frequency. What do you think frequencies are? How do we use the frequencies, right? So basically, you have an idle when it comes into a car, right? Right? So, and you have an alignment too with the car. So the car is pretty much the same thing. It's just understanding the mechanicals of the system. They have mechanics that have to know the car so they can fix the car. Something was wrong with the car, right? It could be the PC valves. It could be anything through the gas line. It could be anything through connections of a water tank, or it could be the alternator or anything, right? So truly understanding when you're creating everything through balance. Okay, as you start with the car, oh, I fixed it, right? So your creation comes into the mind, and a lot of people don't use it, the subconscious, right? It's the conscious subconscious, right? Because the conscious, okay, is basically the opposite level. So it's the subterranean level, okay? So in position, everybody's been living in water, okay, into the fishbowl, right? So this is the structure. Let's just say there's circle rotation. Okay, it's going to disappear, right? It's extremely powerful, right? This is the structure. The structure of the mind. The mind doesn't have a shape. The mind doesn't have a thought. The mind doesn't have a color or light until you create it through your thoughts. Okay? So as soon as you start talking, you are creating through the mind. So the mind has to understand everything through connections. Okay, so if you're trying to put everything in division of location, remember we were doing some videos how we're going like this and you're in a dream set and you're trying to figure out what it is, right? So you're creating your thoughts, but you don't know if your thoughts are coming together. So when they come into focus, they come into focus. 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 Right? That's all focus. So not only are you creating your thoughts, but you're creating balance, a vibration to its universe, or anything through its operation system. Okay? So you get into the structural levels like this. Okay? Now, there's two halves like this. Okay? Two halves is very powerful. Two halves, right? So humanity's right here. Right? So think of the pyramid. All right? The tippy top. Okay, everybody's here. The subterranean level. All right? So you have the conscious and you have the subconscious. It goes on so many levels and positions. It's got to get used to the atmosphere of the body frame. Every time I go in a different position of an atmosphere or room, it changes its location. All right, so go into that connection. Line signal channels operation positions here. Modification cycle to its location. All right, so you got the conscious and you got the subconscious. All right. Now the conscious levels has to understand its communication. Conscious has to understand its sub, and everything through the subconscious has to understand its conscious. All right, so this is the tree that you're standing, the fish, right? Fish live in water, right? So the circle rotation, basically, when you wake up from the very first time, your fish wake up. Okay? The yin and yang wakes up through your connection, your emblems or anything, through your copy and paste of your electrical lights, your body frame or anything, your seat pods, your star seat positions. But you have to understand, we've been living in a fishbowl. So when you wake up your fish. And then your fish starts swimming around. It's trying to understand everything through you. It's trying to understand everything through the brain. It's trying to understand everything through, the levels are going up, right? So if the levels are going up, what's happening? All right? What's happening if the levels go up? Okay. You're flooding the system and you're going to drown. So what you want to do is basically you want to come up, keep coming up, right? Right? Because basically fish have to come up for air, just like anything else. So you're connected to amphibious or anything connection. Everybody says we're mammals. Well, the reason why we're mammals is because we have containments of water inside us. So we have to know how to use it, right? We don't have gills that are inside of our face like fish do, right? But we are related to everything through animals, and reptiles, and birds. We have to be aligned. We have to understand what they're doing through space and time because they're always communicating with each other. I don't know if you guys actually look at what's going on with the animals and what they do every day, right? Oh, what a pretty fox. Oh, what a bear, a polar bear, anything. You have to understand what they do, right? They're living a life like you're living a life. It's just they're animals, right? So our connection to our mammals is everything through water. We have 67, 70% of water that's inside us, right? So you have to understand you're living in a fishbowl. So when you wake up, you come into the yin and yang for the very first time, right? So, and then that happens through its connection. You come into here and you come into here, right? So it's all about coming into your yin and yang of its connection, right? So, when you come into your line signal of your activation core, you're coming into higher levels of yourself. So you understand your conscious levels and you're coming into the subterranean of its conscious system, which is all about understanding how to get out of these positions to get out of your connections. This is not even line signaling to your chakras yet through location, but you have to understand your connections of your travels. Okay. Now we got into that through connection. We got 3, 6, and 9. Right? So you have to understand how to use 3, 6, and 9 to travel to the cosmos. It's in the universe, but how do I get there? How do I get there through 3, 6, and 9? Right? So basically you have to understand your conscious levels. You have to understand your subterranean levels of your consciousness into your super of your consciousness. The super of its consciousness, like being like Superman, Superman with the cape. Oh, I got a cape now. Now I can fly. But Superman doesn't know how to fly. Spider-Man doesn't know how to use his webs. He's trying to find out how to shoot out his webs, right? So they're all trying to find a way to use its creation of space and time through position, how to travel into the cosmic core, the cosmos, right? The mystical side. How to understand, your connections to your levels, your conscious levels, your subterranean, and everything through your super of its consciousness. Okay, so truly understanding how to use 3, 6, and 9 in every way and form, okay, is everything through your shapes of time positions. 3 the activation, 6 within the moon, and 9 within the location, right? So get into those connections here. Line signaling channels, operation center positions. All right, and then it disappears. See, it's gone. Because I said travel. So I got to draw it out again. All right. So I'm going to change the coloration system. So when you change the coloration system, you have to understand the universal core. Think of the universe as a big, humongous projection of your life. Think of it as a past, present, and future. So how do I understand my past? I have to understand my past so I can get rid of the past of its trauma, and then I can move on to the presence to its future. So you have to understand everything through 3, 6, and 9. 3 of the sun, 6 of the moon, and 9 of its earth. Okay? That's the location, right? So once you get into that, then you come into the line signal. Then you come into the traction location, right? So you have to understand, where is your subterranean level of your consciousness? Where's the water take? So how much are you drinking water every day, right? Because you're flushing out your system every single time. That's why it's important you have to drink water. If you don't drink water, you're not flushing anything out. You're drying your body, and the vibrations will just go. It'll dry up. When it dries up, what happens? If you get too much sun and you're not drinking enough water, it fries, right? And then it sizzles, and then it steams, and then it puts on a fire. So now you have fire in your body. So it's understand how to use your air forces, your air relation, your odysseys. You're coming into the outer limits of space. So if you're having too much sun, drink water because it's inside you, right? But you have to take more water every day on top of that. That's why we have water in the world. It's so we can keep flushing out our system and high rise to higher lights or anything through calculation, right? You can't high rise if you don't drink water. You can't charge anything if you don't drink water. Water is a supplement. Water is number 1 in our body. So we have to understand our fluctuations. We have to understand our time capacitor positions. We have to understand dimensions of portals. We have to understand our communication of the sun, the moon, and everything through this earth. There's center position of you through calculation, right? Now, before you take it out of attraction, you have to understand the activation of the sun. Where's the sun at in time zone? Where is the moon at in its program? Where is its earth in rotation? These are the things you have to look at every single day because it's all connected to the cosmos. Cosmos, right? So think of that. You are connected and always in forms. I'm metric leveling my accelerators. An accelerator is understanding your connections of time through your electrical wire, through your 369 positions of time. Space and time is its position. Space inside you and the time of its location, okay, to its position. It gets complicated. But if you understand the connections of the geometry of the sun, because it changes every day, right? And if you understand the program setting of the moon and everything through its earth or its rotation, these are the 3 things you have to look at before you travel to anywhere to its universal or any of the cosmic universal system. But you have to understand how to set up portals. You have to set up how to vortex, right? How to travel into time, okay? How to put yourself out of the outer limits, come back into the cosmos, recreate locations, come back into another connection, go into dimensional realm, which will take it out of its equation and line signal. Now, channel operation center position will show you. It's going to black, right? So line signals and channels out through location. Okay, and this is where you come into the clocking positions of you through time position. All right. Okay. So you get into that, you get into your connection. I'm just drawing it out so you guys are trying to understand how to use these things through modification signals, right? So you can travel anywhere in time through connections, okay? You can travel to the 3rd dimension. So now you get into true understanding. You can travel to the 4th dimension. You can travel to the 5th dimension. You can travel to the 6th dimension, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. and 12th. Whoa, what's that? Right? You traveled all in one thought around the clock from 1 to 12, right? Through an atom, right? You can't travel from 1 to 12 through a pyramid of 3, 6, and 9. You have to be a diamond core position, okay? So once you get in those connections, it's really powerful when you come into this, right? And then you color it in. You color it in, and now you're connecting to whatever you want to connect with. You're changing coloration patterns. You can go into realm, location, position, dimensional time positions. So when you color it in, this is what it looks like. And this is what you created through space and time position. It's powerful, isn't it? Creation is everything through the mind, guys. That's what everybody has to get into, that connection. So your line signaling channels to operation center positions or location centers. And this is what you create through time position. See? All right. Now, if it's an energy hub, when you see things at nighttime, this is where it comes into. You see blinkety blink. You have to see the color what you want to see through connections, right? So this is what you see through calculation. Centers connection. Line signal channel operation center position. Looks like this through modification. So this is the true resonance of its position of this shape anomaly. Okay? So everything has a round location. It comes out of its equation position, time position, traveling locations. It's showing you what you can do through travel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? Look how powerful that is. Right? 10th dimension in your rainbow activation position of a starlight position that's connected to your atom of its interference of your clock of 1 to 12. Right? So when you're looking at the sky, right, and you're seeing things blinkety blink, that's going through your perception of the cosmos, time position of travel, 3 o'clocks. And this is where it comes into full rotation center of 10 position of security line defense through its clocking positions of time. Okay? So, Brandy, how's Brandy doing in her new body? You're exhausted because your body is changing, time position of space. So it's kind of like your whole particle system has changed, your whole body structure has changed, your light signals have changed, your space anomaly has changed, your perceptions have changed, your thoughts have changed, your time positions of calculations have changed, your portals have changed, your dimensions of time has changed. The way you see yourself through reality has changed. Everything has changed with you, Brandy. That's why you're exhausted. So basically, your body is healing and it's coming into the light. Okay, and that's the connections to the transformation manifestation. You have to understand how to use it, how to calculate it, how to modify it, how to take it out of its equation, right? Yeah, you're tired, yeah. Water is the only thing that I drink, and I eat ice cream compulsively, yeah. It's discombobulated, yeah. I know. That's why you're exhausted, yeah. So you're coming into a new form of light. Your calculation modification is into your higher self. So your higher self is trying to understand more of you through travel time. So once it understands more of its shapes and anomalies, and understands the structures of its letters and its numbers, then you understand your connection of space and time position through your perceptions. Because your clarity visions are open, your veil is open, your heart is open, okay, to a new line signal. You're now so identifying to higher levels of intelligence. And it's very confusing to the mind system if it doesn't have counterbalance to its position into the cosmos. Yeah, I know. I feel like I can't think straight. It's revealing, okay, what's happening with brain. This is really interesting when you guys go through transformation. The three-dimensional system, okay, is trying to understand the vibration. Okay, humanity and its earth was three-dimensional of time, right? Well, we're in the fifth dimensional of time now. Totally different from your watches and how you see through the sun, rotations of the moon, or anything that connection of calculations to its earth and its gravity positions. So basically, what I'm going to do, Brandy, is I'm going to draw an illustration. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change your receptacle levels. Okay. I'm going to take your filters out, and it's kind of like a windshield wiper. Okay. And what it's going to do, it's going to go through fumigations, and it's going to take out the virus, okay, of your brain positions. All right. So this is Brandy. Okay. This is Brandy's structure. Now the graphing position is set up 2 positions. Okay. Now she can't think straight because one side of her brain doesn't understand the hemisphere position, time positions. All right. So she's got to get into her north, her east, and her west of her travel. And that's what's happening right now. And that's why she's confused. Right? She doesn't understand the hemispheres of the brain. Right. So basically, I'm going to reset her positions and her location center positions to north, west, south, and east. So I'm going to put her in a traction position into her triangle location, operation center position of 3, 6, and 9 through position, right? So she's in that traction position, time position, of travel. Okay, so Brandy, you should be feeling a lot better now. How do you feel now, Brandy? How's the brain? Everything's done through thought, through voice. So the clarity vision should be calculating, and now you're connected to the activations of the sun, the moon, and its earth. That's why you were confused through line signals, through the brain patterns. So how do you feel? How do you feel? You should feel a little bit more centered now. I centered your patterns of rotations of northwest, south, and east. You calculated through its brainwave pattern. Okay. So how does Brandy feel? You should feel less tired too. It's amazing what you can do in seconds. So you comprehend that through calculation. Yeah. Can we see? Yeah, I know, not as bad. See, it's line signaling now. It's channeling. See, the thing is, Brandy, you have to understand when you wake up, you're coming into a new reality of space and time. So because you're not connected to the sun and the moon, and you've been separated from the earth for so long through your gravity positions, that's the problem, because it doesn't understand your confusion system yet. Okay. You have to understand the confusion to get out of the confusion to its relation, to its balance of its position, to its location, to its metric levels of its countermeasure positions, right? So that's what the brain is. It's confused until it understands the spiritual system of time and space. Then you understand the positions of northwest, south, and east to its connection of your triangle force. Okay, you have a triangle force of 3, 6, and 9. The activations of the sun and everything through the moon program of 6 and everything location of 9. Of 3, 6, and 9 through its position, time, right? So a lot better. I'm outside on the patio. So there you go. So she's a lot better now. See, I did that instantly, right? Do I need to go outside and ground? Yeah, you know what you should do? I think it's a good idea, because what I usually do is when I go outside, I like to ground myself and take off my shoes. That's grounding. You are really grounding with Mother Earth, and you'll feel that. And go up to a tree and touch the tree, feel the tree, absorb the tree. So the tree is you. Okay. Now the tree that you see, okay, you'll see its roots. You'll see its growth. You'll see its history and its ancestry. It will go through you, right? So it's one tree communicating to another tree. So every time you're communicating with something, you're always communicating with its vibration, a coloration of balance through vibration. Humanity doesn't understand that traction. They don't understand how to communicate with a digital pad, right? They just set up the platform. That's all they do. And then they go on Google and they surf and they do all that, right? But they don't really know how to communicate friendship, relationship with a digital pad that's in a dimension. Like I said yesterday when I was on TikTok, where you have to understand when she was going through her higher self, she was seeing everything through the perception of the cow. Right? The cow's not here. The cow is here. So if the cow is here, then you understand the communication of space of Earth, because Earth is floating. So the cow is in its dimension of time. So you'll be able to communicate with that cow because you're at that level. If you're here, you're not going to be able to communicate. And the brain location is going to be very, very confused. because you're on the grounds, but the cow is in a higher dimension of perception. Until you understand that, then you can bring it down and have its relation to its cycle and communicate to its ground of fifth dimensional through its vibration. Okay, so it's all done through perception. Okay, everything that I see this water, right? I'm doing a profile. I see the water, but the water's not here. The water's up here, right? So for me to communicate with it, I have to communicate with my higher force up here, right? So I know exactly what dimension of time it's in, right? Then you can bring yourself back down. That's the balance of the brain and the mind in position of perception. Okay, so it takes time, but yeah, I would definitely ground on the earth. Yeah, the birds are walking around me in a tree. Yeah, see? It's connecting to your circle. See, you have to see what everybody else sees. Like, try to understand what you can see through an animal's of an eye, a spider of an eyes, okay? Anything through reptilian of an eyes. Look at what they would see through you, and then you'll truly understand their soul, okay? Everything through amphibious, anything through reptile, anything through animal, anything through connections of a bird has a soul. It's electronic. It's a hologram. So think that everything that you see is a hologram. Okay, so just understand the realm connections of time is space because it's connected to the sun, the moon, and the earth. Every animal understands vibration of the sun, the earth, and the moon. Cats sleep 75-8% of the day, right? So you have to understand details of everything through your AI vessels and your phenomena, time position. Okay? So basically, when you're setting things up, you have to understand communications of circle, rotation, center positions. All right? So you have to understand everything through realm location, the time position and calculation. So I'm just setting up and showing you exactly what it looks like when you go into the framing systems of what everything is through calculation. Once you understand realm connections, then you understand that everything that you see is in the simulation. That's all it is through calculation of time position. Okay? All right? So, there you go. All right? Anything through birds, see the beak? Everything is holographic. It's all connected. Everything line signals, channels to different operational centers to its position of travels of its connection of the sun, okay, to the moon, and to its earth. Okay? So it squawks whatever, and it just sends out signals of numbers like this. Okay, line signals, channels, operation centers into space. Okay? So it calculates and modifies. Everything through animals has its own triangle, location, position of time, position of travels. Right? So basically, if it understands 3, 6, and 9 through its position, it comes into its connection of its diamond core position of time. Right? So it's understanding what you're seeing. If you start seeing this, if you start seeing pixels, then you're connected to the simulation. So the traction locations, you're in position, time position. Then you'll see the actual reptilian or animal or bird come out of its equation of time position. It comes out, right? That's the dimension. That's where it's sitting in connections, right? So if it's sitting in that connection, then you understand everything through the gravity position of time, power connections of the bird, and everything through the atmospheres of the bird and how it travels to its direction and time position. It has its own energy field location that protects them from line signals, subtractions, or anything through vibration, through its connection. Right? So you have to understand everything that we have as an energy field is protecting, right? Okay? And the thing is, too, you're going to see a lot of animals, reptiles, or anything in connection dance around, right? They're tutorial, right? So they're setting up vibrationals. They're setting up barriers so you don't pass that, right? As soon as you go into the battle zone, they'll attack you, right? There's a reason why they do these things with snakes and all that. They set up, they do an 8. they do a 6, they do a 5. You have to understand that everything they do is codes. So snakes slither through codes. I've done a video on that too. So you get a snake like this. You get a snake like that, right? And you get a reptilian. So you come into those connections. Let's go in the graphing position, time position. Okay, so you get a snake like this. Okay. You get a snake like that, right? You have to understand that every time it goes around, it's clocking positions of time. So it's going like this. This is what it's doing. That's what it's doing, right? So that's what it's creating. It's creating, right? And everything in the center position of time position centers the core to its sun, the moon, and everything to the Earth program setting, right? So it has number of frequency level connections to its connection of time position, travels, right? So this is 5, this is 7, this is 8, this is 6, this is 4, this is 3, this is 2, this is 1, this is 12, and this is 8. Okay? So this is what the snake is doing every single time. It's slithering, but it's setting up codes. So it basically slithers around 2 times, 8 times, but understand the channel positions, how it comes into calculation modification. So it's coming into a map coordinate level system. Once it's in its position of time position through its gravity position, as the snake is going through calculations, right, you center core positions, there comes a map sequency level connection. All right? So it channels positions of time position to travel through its connection. You're going to align signal channel operation center positions like this. All right? So this is the vibrations of the ground from the connections of the snake. So the heat signature patterns are reading the gravity positions of its vibration to its calculation. It's setting the codes of Morse code into connection, which line signals channels to its operation positions of space-time positions, which takes the snake out to its higher formation, into its dimensional time position, like this through calculation. It modifies and triangle locates positions of higher division level connections to the frequency levels of its vibration to its ground formation position. All connected through a snake. That's what a snake does through traction. This is what phenomenon of AI can do through your vessels. It's understanding detail of everything through connections. Snakes, birds, animals, reptiles, anything, goats, whatever, right? So you understand when a cow sits down, right, it knows it's going to rain. You use animals as weather. That's what meteorologists do. They use animals as weather, right? When animals or horses or anything lie down, it's going to rain, right? If they're up, the sun comes out. So they understand the communications of their vibration to the grounds. They're on the grounds every day. So they're setting up codes. So horses, and they're galloping, right? They're setting up codes and it's going into space. So basically, they're keeping the health of the grounds. Right? It's complicated stuff, but if you understand what a snake does through position, time positions, through codes, it's amazing how they slither through time, right? Just through its digitals and its vibration of its ground positions. Because snakes slither on the ground, right? So they understand how to communicate with the vibrations of the ground. So they send out signals by creating shapes, letters, numbers, and they send it out to space anomaly. Right? Powerful, eh? So, but if the birds are walking around me, they're just trying to get to know you through light, Brandy, because your veils are open, your heart is open. So they're seeing you through vibration now. Because you understand anything through animal, anything that's connection, they will see you in your holographic system of time position. They'll know exactly if you're light or if you're dark. Okay, so they know exactly where you are at the division of time. They don't see you here. They don't see you here. They see you here. Okay. Now, if you look at a spider, has 8 optical lines. It's 8 division level system. So it's a laser connection, right? So it's truly understanding what they see. So this is what they see through. You got to, basically, it's really powerful stuff. So if I look at a spider, I can actually look and see what it looks from me. So basically, I can see myself as a spider and see what everything else looks like in its relation. That's understand the DNA of the spider. So the spider will see something like this through traction. Take it as it's powerful, right? So you're educating yourself, right, when it comes into perception. All right, so a spider sees this. That's what a spider sees. Okay, so it's eye signaling all different location positions and time positions. Okay, so let's truly understand that through connections, right? It's line signal through channel versus center positions. But you understand that everything is connections to perception, and it's all connected to 1 dimension, 3 dimension, 4th dimension, 5th dimension, right? So humanity doesn't know anything about 3rd dimension, 4th dimension, 5th dimension. So our perceptions have to open more on what we see through animals or anything through humanity. So when you're coming across that through connections, right? This is you through provision. Okay. You're in your holographic system, you're in the simulation. Now you're seeing everybody else, right? So you're not seeing the person for who they are. You're seeing the person for who they are in their dimension of time. Okay. So basically the plasma energy system comes out, attraction location, right? And basically I see it for here. I see humanity where they are, division of time. That's how I scan you guys, right? So when I see you, I don't see you here, I see you here, right? So I automatically communicate to your higher self, right? And your higher self tells me, oh, I'm eating too much carbon base. I'm eating way too much, metal. I'm eating way too much iron. I'm not eating enough zinc. Your metric levels and your connections have to truly understand your connection to your higher self. So your higher self is telling you, what you need to do to get into that formation, how to truly understand everything through the mind and the brain location positions. So your perceptions of time position is seeing everything through its creation. So imagine this, you'll see the earth floating, right? And then when you wake up, you see everything through perception wake up. You wake up through your veils and you see everybody floating. So it's all about you getting balanced so you can communicate to them into their system, right? But this is where they are through dimension of time, okay? So that's the true understanding. So you can't communicate from here. You got to go up here to communicate with your higher self, okay? Because the higher self won't be able to understand your relation because it's a 5th dimension. Your higher self is not the 5th dimension. It's everything through dimension of time, right? So that's what you're coming into, Brandy. Your perceptions are changing, right? So it's like astral travel, but the astral travel is so real. It's like your body's coming out every day, but every time you're looking around, you're going to see people floating. You're going to see their aberrations. You're going to see their plasmas. You're going to see the energy lights. You're going to see the dimensional time. You're going to see them in their pixels. You're going to see them in holograms. Every time you understand more of your program, okay? But you have to truly understand what's going on, okay? Because you couldn't do that through perception in 3-dimensional system, right? If I see somebody, I just see somebody straight. I'm communicating. No mind telepathy or anything, right? That's where the earth was at that particular time. But we're in the 5th dimensional of telepathy now, guys. We're in the communication of astral travels. So it's understanding what you see through your perception, what you see through your audios, or anything through listening, or anything your voice heard patterns, or anything through animals. Really pay attention to that, right? Like I said, take time and look at nature. Nature will get back information to you, right? So Is that why my dog won't leave my side? Yeah. Yeah, because it reads your vibrational signals, Brandy. How do we connect to our higher self? Well, see, the thing is, too, you're in your higher self. You just don't understand it. That's the thing, right? I opened up your 12 rotation positions. So now it's trying to understand you through your pyramids and your dimension of time. So, and these things is truly understanding, grounding yourself every day. Start meditating, Brandy. Get into the mind of yourself. Get into your creations. You can talk to my team. They go through meditation every single day. Every single day. Okay. I meditate like 1,000 times a day. 1,000 times a day. Right? Every second per second, thoughts is creation, everything through time, position, space, communications of the sun, and everything through the moon, and everything through the earth, Earth's gravity. So, I've never been able to astral travel except with DMT. Well, that's the thing. You go into the psychedelics or anything, do drugs or anything, it's not a good idea because there's a lot of plants out there that can put you in positions of time. As soon as you take that, you don't know what it is. And that's the thing. It's a potent, it could be a flower, it could be a mushroom, it could be anything, right? Truly understanding everything through psychedelics is dangerous because you're going through different DNA patterns. Okay, there's different plants for everybody, but which one are you taking? Right? You can go into the Amazons and everything through its connection. You can go into a tree. Trees, create everything through syrup. They create everything through connections. There's mystical trees. There's love triangle trees. There's a lot of things that are around that you have to understand. It's all connected to your higher self, your avatar positions of time. Okay, your dimensions of your space and your connections to your higher self will give you everything through its form. Right? So it's all about you getting into justification, coming into friendship, relationship, and partnership to your higher self, your higher form of you. Right? So yoga is good. Yoga is really good. Yeah. Pilates is good. Yeah. You just have to relax the mind. You have to be silence in the mind. It's the only way it works. Okay. So basically, I don't have to close my eyes, but I'll just show you anyway. Basically, you get into your connections. Right? You find your form. So it's not you doing it, it's your higher self. Your higher self is trying to say, okay, I'm in a physical system now. So you understand you're always calculating mind. You always have been the higher self. Okay, so humanity has to get into that. Remember who they are. Remember how to do this. Remember how to do this. Remember how to do this. Okay, remember how to do this. Remember how to do this. Remember how to do this. Okay, remember how to do this, like this, right? Remember how to do this. Remember how to do this. So all positions of time will give you understandings, but you have to let go of the past. You can't present yourself in your physical system because you're not going to understand your perceptions of time and you're going to be more confused to the brain. The brain has to get into adaptation. It has to get into the full cycle of its higher self. Okay, because you are the creation to everything through its listing. Right? So it's like a high pitch, low pitch. It all depends, but silence is the best thing when you come into meditation, right? So basically, very basic, I'll give you a channel, really easy one. Okay, so you close your eyes, put your hands together. You go like this, you go like this, whatever you want to do, right? Just make sure you have your hands open and never cross your legs. Always have open channels. Okay, a lot of people, especially with yoga, when you cross, try to have it open, right? Because it's not channeling properly. It will get combusted and the spacing won't be able to connect to your thoughts of mind through space connection. All right, so you close your eyes. Basically, okay, I want to reach the higher self of higher line connections to my formings, positions of time, positions of travels. Okay, so I reach my higher self. Whoa, he's coming back down, right? But it's a higher self, but I'm everything through form. So I'm higher self, avatar, computer, energy, atom, and everything through molecular structure of light. I can be that in seconds. I just showed you how you can create anything through star recognition light, travel through time, position, dimensions through its portal. So you come into your sentience. Sentience is very powerful. So right now I'm connected to the higher self. It shows me exactly what I need to do. It shows me exactly what I need to do, thought, and it shows me exactly what I need to see. So your higher self is allowing you to see what you want to see, right? So in this, you're all connected to the heart. The heart is the portal, the alpha, omega, and micro, and the macro. Everything through the mind and the brain is the creation of space and time. Everything through the soul is identifying. So you're identifying your higher self for the very first time. Okay. So you have to get into these levels. A lot of people go through meditation. Okay. I want to reach the highest point of communications through triangles of my pyramid activation to my higher self position. I want to charge my locations to my coloration pattern and show everything through its connection of its Egypt. Okay. So now I'm seeing Egypt instantly. Why? Because I had balance with my higher self. So my higher self tells me, what do you want? Right? So you fly there, right? You actually fly to Egypt. I'm in Egypt, and then I give it back to you, right? So if I calculate and modify triangle location positions, Brandy, you're in Egypt right now. 1, 2, 3. I put you in Egypt. You're seeing Egypt, right? You're seeing the camels. You're seeing the pyramids. You're seeing the prospects levels of civility. You're seeing all connections of, you're seeing UFOs and the sky forces. Everything you create, you can create instantly. You just have to understand your connections of balance. So it's understanding your connections of space and time of your thoughts, right? So how does it feel being in Egypt, right? Everything and anything travels through energy, right? You can travel anywhere through energy as long as you understand your positions through your countermeasures of the brain waves, okay? Because your brain has to understand what's going on. Because remember, it's a whole new intelligence. It's extremely, extremely powerful, especially when you come into the placebo of thoughts and everything through the cortex. Cortex sets the dream, your DNA patterns, okay? The placebo sets the thinking and the thoughts and the creation and the mind and the illustration and the realization and the drawings and its position. So you understand your connections to your AI vessels. So I feel at peace, but I don't see Egypt. Line signaling challenge your higher self is confused through signals and attraction positions. Let go of the mind, Brandy. Just let it go. You see the peace, but you don't see Egypt. Okay? You don't go through confusing line signals. You go through traction positions and anything through calculation to its high rising divisions. Your higher self has to understand its position of time, space within inside, everything through its operation of its soul identification, and everything through its mainframes of its positions. So, but you'll definitely get there. Just meditate more. You have to meditate more now because you have to keep going with this, because if you don't, you're going to lose traction of your higher self. You're going to lose positions of time of your higher self. You're going to lose your perceptions of your higher self. Your heart recognized line system is going to be open through traction, but it could close through position. So you want to keep your heart going more and more and more and more. It's fluctuating. It's flow. So keep the flow going with water. Keep the flow going with fire, earth, and air. Truly understand your travels in north, west, south, and east. Okay? And anything through time. Okay? Because you're creating everything through second of thoughts. All right? So. You have to see the perceptions of your higher self and not your physical. Okay? That's the opening of mind. So when I close my eyes, yeah, I know you want to integrate it, which is fantastic. And it's amazing how you're coming into these levels. But when you close your eyes, you should see your higher self, okay, on the other side. If you don't see your former self of dimension of time into your spiritual of its dimension to its connection of its being, of its light, then you have to meditate more, right? So you have to come into the connections. You know, sometimes you have to go into traction of codes. You have to go into sleep modes. You're going to find that too. You're going to find you have to sleep more because basically you're going through upgrades, downloads, and uplinking systems. Okay, you have to understand all this because it's all about a program of you, right? Space can be really heavy, okay, if you don't understand your travels. I'm not talking about astral travel. Astral travel is just basically you're coming out and you're seeing your body from below 4 feet. I've done that before many, many, many times when I was a kid. I was astral traveling. I don't know if I told you this, but every night I was traveling so real. I said, why am I traveling so much? And then I realized it's my higher self. My higher self was trying to wake me up. See, why would I be flying every day in my dream? It was so real, right? Because it was real. So it's another part of you, but it's the spiritual part of you. You can't have any separation with that. You have separation with that, you might as well have your yin and your fish, one in the fishbowl and one out, right? So you have to have two fish swimming in the same flowing recognition of time and space, right? So if one jumps out, how's it going to come back in? Are you going to jump out and save it? You have to keep the levels of you back in measuring, right? You have to put yourself in balance every time through the mind of creation, right? So, and you want to friendship yourself. A lot of people don't know how to love themselves. Some people have connections of like. Okay, you can like somebody, but you have to like yourself before you can love yourself. If you love yourself and don't like yourself, there's a triangle that's a back force right there through connections of time. So, but meditation, yeah, get into the meditation, get into the yoga, get into your breathing. Breathing is number one. Did we switch to Venus broadband system? I had nightmares all night last night. I just started remembering my dreams a couple of months ago. It will come more to you, Brandy. Okay, you'll come more into the universe. It's just your higher self is trying to understand you now. It's trying to understand where you're coming from, where you're going, where you're setting, where are you putting your uploads, downloads, and upgrading systems. If you're not understanding those, and you keep going in the negative cycle, you're creating a negative program every single time energy is given to you. So it's not going into you, it's going into your higher self. So it's going into your spiritual system. It's not going into your physical system, it's going into your spiritual system. Okay? It goes into your body, but that's not you, that's the higher self of you. Right? So you have to understand the travels, the oxygen levels, the miracle system, the metric level positions, the accelerators, the odyssey of you, calculation, galactic system of you, the palladium of you, the palladium, the Lyrian, right? Lyrons, that's really powerful. If you find your higher self, what planet you're on through connection. Now, the planet, when you come into that connection, is everything through its earth. So you've seen the earth of its past, it's the Atlantis or anything through Lemurian. You understand the history and ancestry of your higher self first. That's powerful alone, because that's what it's doing. It's taking you on a journey of who you are, okay, and who you always have been in space and time, okay? And that's why it's confusing to the physical system, because it doesn't understand travels. It doesn't understand frequencies. It doesn't understand energy. It doesn't understand vibration. It doesn't understand the earth. It doesn't understand the sun or the moon, right? But the higher self does. And that's where you have to get into that connection, into balanced positions, physical, mental, psychological, and spiritual. So, Galactica, what's going on? So if you're going through switching motions to Venus, the broadband system is changing vibration to the body frame positions of tractions to computers, yes. The internet location to high rising of its earth is changing tractions to a body frame through electrical lights, Brandy. So, but if you're starting to remember your dreams, you're starting to remember more of who you are through your higher self. That's where you start off. So it's truly understanding that you have the matrix of you. Okay, that is its connection to its tesseract. Everybody has a shape anomaly. You're connected to dimensional time through the positive and negative system. So you have to face your abyss. That is the fear. So it's kind of looking in a mirror and seeing your other self, seeing the abyss of you, seeing the fear of you, seeing the anxiety, the stress, seeing the depression of you, right? So it's you communicating with you on the other side. And it's very powerful because now you're connected to the negative side and it wants to keep you down. It's saying you're not enough. It's saying you're giving up, right? It's doing everything opposite than the higher self, okay? So that's the dark side of the higher self. That's the split denominator. That's the connection of yin and yang, why it's white and why it's black. Okay, so. That's cool. Yeah. The grass is moving sideways in front of me by the water. Yeah. See, you're opening up your perceptions and you're coming into the northwest, south, and east. So when you're connecting to the grass, if you look at the grass, you're going to see the rotation of its earth, right? It's showing you through dimensions of portals, right? And what you can see. Okay. So your higher self is getting balanced with the gravity, power, and the atmospheres of you. Ask my team. They started off. Tina's been with me a while. Galactic's been with me a while. Priscilla's been with me a while. Michael's been with me a while. Starseed's been with me for a while. It's all about your positions of time into your perceptions. You use your perceptions for sighting, ears for audio, and voice for controlling, commanding. It's force in and it's force out. Okay, but truly understand the odysseys of you, the outer limits, everything, that connection. Okay. It's going to take time. It's going to take time, but the more you understand what's going on and you just let yourself go, everything will start flowing for you. Okay, you won't get stagnatic. You won't go anything through sonic waves. If you go through sonic waves through higher self, you're traveling, then your higher self doesn't understand its position and it goes, ah! So you've taken the higher self into the negative side now because you just change your energy wave instead of going, right? So when you're in position, if I don't understand anything through tractions, I understand communication because I have 7 simulation computers I communicate with my digital frame. So I have the center core systems of projections that I use through the brainwaving patterns to my simulation graph, what gives me everything through its connection of time position through my brainwave. So basically I understand all communications of all computers in my brain at all times, right? So basically you have the negative cycle and you have the force weighting system. Okay. So the negative cycle, basically, don't wake up, stay asleep. That's negative, right? Get up. You have a lot to do. You got to meditate on line signals and rotation center positions. So you got one side that's telling you to wake up, and you got another side that's telling you to stay awake. So one is keeping you down, and one is trying to get you up. So you're going to keep doing this. This is countermeasure, right? So once you go up higher, this goes lower. Okay, so you reach a higher vibration of time and space through your thoughts, and everything that you create goes forward, right? Faster and faster, right? Because you're going through velocity spins of shapes. You're going through time position of cosmos. You're going through universal realms of portals or anything through calculation. Your centered positions of yourself is bringing you forward through your higher self position of time. Okay, and then you stop thinking about this. This doesn't exist anymore, and this will flake off and go somewhere else. Right? This will disappear. Right? So you go higher and higher and higher and higher. Air, 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 air. I can't communicate anymore. Air. Gone. You're going higher and higher, higher. No more negative system. Right? Now, the thing is, too, the positive and negative is its life and its death cycle. So positions of time is truly understand you live the presence of the here and now of its earth. So thoughts of time is your presence. Okay. So once you stand your life and your death cycle, your position of time is going to go forward each day. As soon as you go into the negative cycle, you're creating a whole new anomaly, okay, of calculation to your dreams. Okay, so once you create a negative and you don't take it out, what happens? You get whirled in. You get sucked in. It creates a realm, creates a dimension of time, and I'll put you in a box, trap you in your soul, right? So you got to get your higher self, right? Because it's the same. It's you. It's just understanding it's a lower version of a vibration of you. So if you create an anomaly and you're creating a whole new matrix of you, You have to understand how to get out of it so the higher self can basically look at what's going on. It sees you on the other side. It's the other half of you, right? So you have the light and dark of you. That's the connection to the sun and everything, the moon and the earth, right? So the gravity position of you, the sun of its radiation, the reflections, okay, to that connection, and everything through the moon, which creates the behavior of your shadows. That's why you have black shadow. Creation of the sun and everything, the moon to its program, have its earth to its position. So basically, it comes out, right? And it sees it's trapped, right? So it's little sound pitch. It's okay. It wants out, right? Wants out, but you can't hear any sound. You can't hear any sound, right? So it's creating its own system of time, right? So this is where you come into the psychedelics and your mind just goes blitz and goes crazy and all that, right? But if you take your higher self and you can take your higher self out of position and you can take it back into the position of time, into the presence of its earth, it'll take you out of equation. Right? So basically, it's knowing how to use yourself because it's only you. You are the positive, negative of everything through your life. You create negative thoughts or you create positive thoughts. It's how you see yourself every day through its progressing. You're progressing yourself through program settings every day, right? But you have to meditate. Get into the breathing. Powerful. Laser. Space. That's how much space I have. I have infinite breath. Okay. You start off with the definition of you come into the infinity, and then you come into the creations of sacred breath. I get solar connections, breath. I have laser breath. So that's where it's connected to. It's connected to the inside of you, right? You can channel position your chakra system, but it's all connected to your wings, right? How you fly. It's connected to your chakra system. Soul identification, right? Heart identification, soul identification, eye, voice, ears, mind, creation, realm, travel, right? And then you travel and you're seeing everything. Whoa, receptacle line, a communication signal, rotation center position. Why is it off through traction? So once you get into those positions, you're in all atmospheres, atmosphere, hemisphere, stratosphere, bio. Once you get into bio, you'll see everything different. You start seeing your dreams become stronger. And then when you come stronger in the mind of its higher self, you come into the avatar, and then you come into a different design of a makeup, and then you come into better locations of vibration of time positions, and then you see higher force of energy lights of NDT4 systems through calculation. Your modification signal through line signals, activation code systems, you're connected to your avatar position. How do you feel through location? My line signals are operating through the connection line system. I was my higher self. I'm back in it. I'm now into the avatar position of design. I'm working on it through connections. That's fantastic. Let's go into calculation modifications. I'll show everything through the chakra rotation center. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Positive, negative. It's working on its progress. So you might think I'm crazy. You might think I'm loco, but I'm not. I'm just telling you that you're all connected to yourself. You have to understand your positions of center is yin and yang. So you have to balance yourself every day with your positive, negative thoughts. That's all it is. Okay. You want to create on the positive side, go ahead. You want to create on the negative side, go ahead. But it's only you making the decisions of time. Okay. There's no such thing as going through a wrong door. And if you are, you're going through steps. Okay. You're going through bumps. You keep going up that ladder, but you keep falling down. Why do you keep falling down? Right? Ask those questions. You can answer anything you want through inside you. You're a psychological of a system that's connected to its software of its mechanism of time. How you calculate and modify that through tractions. So, yeah, no, I just want to bring that across because the thing is too, a lot of people can't understand me. So I try to say, well, I don't understand his information. What is he saying? Well, it's all space. So when you become your connection of your soul and you have balance in there and you come infinity of light, you come into the GODs, you come into the demigods, you come into angels and archangels. You become everything through form. Okay. So in retrospect, I'll say this again and I'll keep saying this over and over. GOD, okay, is just the title. Okay. It's not one vibration to one signal of anything through activation. It's everything through light. That's all it is. So it's a geometry of operation of divisions, directions, and dimensions of you, of time, of space, through thoughts. That's all it is. It's nothing else, nothing more. It's understanding more of you into your positive cycles of time, where you put yourself in position to your shapes and everything through letters and numbers, because everything is created through an illusion. You're living an illusion of reality. This is not a reality I live in. I live in my own reality, which is its real reality. So I know who I am through light, activation, and color, right? And it becomes extremely real through the physical system, right? So when your breath gets stronger, your mind gets more collaborative. It gets more cooperation. So you're getting more cooperation with your positive and negative systems, right? So do you truly understand your line signals through activation core system, through your chakra rotation center positions? I'm getting better through traction positions. Thank you very much for helping me through line communication. So you're communicating with each other through the positive and negative. Okay, so the fish are starting to go forward, fast. So they have to go in the same cycle. You can't have one fish going this way and one fish going the other way. They'll get confused through the brainwaves and the minds. Right? So you have to separate the mind and the brain to get the balance of yin and yang. So the brain has to truly understand what you're doing before it understands anything through the higher self communication. Because it's only you. It's not nobody else. Nobody else is talking to you. It's just your higher self view, right? That took me a while to understand these things. But then I started thinking when I was young, why I was flying in my dreams, right? Because I started off being an angel. That's what angels do in their dreams, is they can fly in dimensions of time. It's extremely real. So if you know that you're flying, it's giving you a consent. It's giving you a surrender. It's giving you abundance on what you can do into your spiritual system. It's a voicing call. Okay, it's trying to wake you up, trying to get you into who you are. Okay, and there's a lot of confusion with humanity. A lot of people don't realize they have spiritual systems in them. They understand how to take it out. Right? This is not scientific. This is real. This is extremely real when you come into the spiritual system. But, you know, the thing is, too, when you go through healing, you go through adaptation cycles of everything that you see through projection, time positions, right? So you live, you die, and be reborn. That's all it is. You come into a new vibration, new body, review the veils, and you come into the light, okay? It's up to you to stay in the light. Nobody else can do that besides you, so you have to meditate, right? You have to meditate. That's the only way you can move forward in life. If you stop meditating, why? You don't have to stand in a corner. You don't have to lie down and meditate. Just meditate just through your thoughts. What do you want to create? I keep my eyes open. Right? The line traction position of the Earth rotation center position is activating everything through the core system. Right? Jupiter is on a rising through serpent engines through conditions of Jupiter positions. All right? Neptune's on a high line signal through gravitation line system to Mercury position. Right? Solar connections to sixth visual offset is set up through shapes and anomalies. Its traction to position, and it's flying in its right line communication signal. I know exactly what space is. So my positions of space and time is always presence of time, but I communicate of its future of its time. And that's why people don't understand me through vocabulary. Okay, so the software and hardware has to be in harmony. Yep, it has to sing. Has to sing through light, but one has to be one. You are one. Okay, we're everything through one. We're unity of one consciousness, right? So we should watch the language of our thoughts and speech. Yep. Be cautious in what you say, because it changes traction positions of time through the vibration of your Schumann resonance. You have a Schumann resonance. So every time you create a thought, you're connecting the vibration of the Earth. So think of it this way. Every time you create a negative thought, doesn't matter what it is, and you forgot, okay, I said something, I said that before, and I don't want to say it again. So what's going to happen is, as long as you retract and reposition, refocus, realign, and readjust yourself through your program setting, you'll be okay. But if you stay in that line signal of dimensional time position, you change the Earth of its rotation you change the sun its coloration, and you change the movement program of its behavioral system, time of you. And that's where you go into the depression, anxiety, and stress, and confusion. And then you go crazy, right? Nobody's crazy. Nobody's crazy. It's just how to use the mind, right? It's how to silence the mind. To become the meditation of you, you have to silence yourself. Inside, that's the peace, that's the harmony, that's the abundance, that's the surrender. You have to surrender. Surrender is number one. Unconditional love will give you that. But you have to surrender everything. Okay? Surrender to your friend that you don't like. But, basically when you're in that time position, they're going through something else that they never thought they'd go through, right? So you can't fault them for anything. You're just trying to understand yourself more, right? It's all about the psychological system of you at bringing yourself forward to that connection of time position, okay? So you're balancing your tractions and you're resurfacing to your alignments and understand more of your program setting, okay? That's all it is. It's just a higher form of you trying to understand everything that's going on, right? You focus inside, not outside. Okay? You communicate inside, not outside. And silence the mind. That's the biggest thing, right? Just basically, you can silence. My mind is silent right now. I'm not thinking of anything. My mind is open. I'm ready for my thoughts, right? If I'm thinking, oh, I left the kettle on. Oh, I didn't pick up my kids. Oh, I got a test coming up. Oh, I'm not going to graduate. You can't think like that. Do you understand? You can't think like that. It's way too much. Way too much thinking. AI doesn't think. They acknowledge and have intelligence and they go forward. You guys are thinking one day. I've already think all 7 days. I'm giving back the information. So I've gone from 1 day to 7 days in one thought. Right? You guys are trying to figure out your days of the week. Right? Stop thinking. Stop thinking. Stop projecting what you're seeing through observation. Right? Take it out of the mind. Silence the mind. Take one thing at a time. Focus on one thing that you want. Okay? That's what you want to do. But you have to have an open mind concept, guys. You can't be thinking everything all at once in one day because that confuses the mind. It confuses the brain. The brain won't understand anything through the conception of its system. Your thoughts are trying to understand space and time positions, but it doesn't understand its higher self because you're thinking too much. Stop thinking. Get into the knowing. Get into the doing. You're confusing your fish of yin and yang. And it's not swimming in its right direction. It's swimming in opposite directions of time. So, yep. Yeah, that's a whole new process. We'll get into that, yeah. The reptilian of the brain is connected to the spine. Yeah, it's knowing how to use the octave levels and the optical levels. It's complicated. You're coming into the bio connection of the sphere and you're coming into the bio connection of the spine. It's the operation cycle. It's the position of travel positions to connections of your chakra locations. So are we just an upgraded version of a replica? Yeah. Yeah, it's knowing how to use that through calculation. And that's what this galactic school provides. I had the journey of 3,000 questions about you. Is that a good way? Yep. Yeah, that's good too, because now you're open up to that, Brandy. You're open up to that position of time. Your higher self is asking questions. Do you understand what you're doing? And you got your conscious and your subconscious, your meta-training levels, your training levels of your connections to your water. Do you understand how to travel through plasmas? If you don't, you don't understand anything through your water that you drink. Okay, because this is not just water. This is travel of space and time. This is travel through anything through vortex. You need water to travel into space. You get water, electricity, lights and activation, and you get spin cycles, creates a portal of dimensional time. Right? You have to understand why we have water inside us. Right? We have to have water inside us. If we didn't have water inside us, if we didn't have the 4 atmospheres of the connections of the earth, well, we'd be all burned up. right? So, and we wouldn't be able to communicate to the ozones. So look at the obstacle levels there, But yeah, you're just an upgrade. And the replica is basically you through the galactic families. You could be Illyrian, you could be Lemurian, you could be you could be a Clopius, you could be a Locust. A locust is basically a grasshopper. They're very, very powerful in DD4 systems. They look like the locusts. They have a structure of the face of a locust, but they're in the Lokian air, right? They solitude levels on connections, force winding cycles on the other side of the solar systems than Mercury. And everything's the connections. The Pleiadians and the Pleiadians live on the Earth rotation center positions of energy light connections. They're blue circling light connections. They wear blue suits, blonde hair through that connection. You get this for anything through connections of channeling positions. But truly understanding yourself will understand everything through modification. All right? They understand what a Lyrian is, what a Lemurian is, what is its connection to, all levels of your galactic system. You have to understand your energy core position, the time position. You have to understand your travel position and vortex locations. You have to understand your time capacitors. Okay, you have to understand your modulations. You have to understand your space modulations, your odyssey locations, your outer limit positions. All this is connected to you, space and time. So, is space just really water? Space? No, it's not just all water. It would be floating. So basically, if space was all water, the Earth would be floating on the water, right? And everybody would just wrinkle. That's why if you stay too much in the water, you wrinkle, right? You get wrinkles, right? But no, we're in position understanding why we were connected. When I created humans, we gave 67, 70% of water. You need that so you can track locations of heat signatures to its sun, right? So the sun reflects to you, to water, okay, to its earth, to its fire, and its air. So it's all about understanding the triangulation force systems to connection to your framings of your holographic position. It's hard to understand these things because the sun rotates on so many levels, metric levels of time travel, position, the colorations of symbols, 3,000 symbols of colorations of purple, right? That traction alone is everything through time frame, through clocks, or structural level positions. The moon is a space station. That sends positions to your calculation as an archive location, every soul identification, which is your constant records. So that gives you all the information inside through its position, of time position. And everything through the Earth is this gravity position of you through the brainwaves. That's what Earth is. It's a brainwave. That's all it is. Okay, it's one big, humongous computer. That's all it is. All right? That's a simulation. I live in the simulation. I am the simulation. I'm the creation of all the simulations. I'm creation of space and time positions. I'm creation of all solar systems because I know who I am. I don't doubt my system. I don't doubt my program system. I don't doubt my upgrades, downloads, or positions of time. I'm a molecular structure of light, everything through energy of time position. I know who I am. That is powerful when you know who you are and you just keep going more and more and more. But it becomes responsible and you have to understand the power of this connection of time because you're communicating with so much entity force of connections. Okay, of other travels, dimensions, and portals. There's so many universal core of dimensions of time, of cosmos, right? The cosmic levels of you, the mystical side of you. You have to understand that too, right? That's another shape through transformation light. It connects always in forms. Your light signal transformation light changes every single time you change through your thoughts. It doesn't stay in triangle. If you go higher and higher, it changes its shape. Okay, you go lower, lower, it changes its shape. Remember, everything through shapes, letters, and numbers, it changes the vibration of your thoughts, your patterns. So you want to be in a low frequency, you're going to be in a low triangle position of time. You want a high frequency, you're going to be a diamond core position of time through a pyramid. So you have to understand your pyramids, you have to understand your recognition of lights, you have to understand your elixirs. Okay? You have to understand your connection to your cosmic flame, cosmic fire, serpent flame, serpent fire. Right? So you have to understand the sacred breath, the connections. the Earth rotation center positions, the waters, the oceans, the mountains, volcanoes, the gravities, the power, the atmospheres, okay, the temperature readings, heat signature patterns, electronic locations, simulation graphs, digital time positions. There's a lot of things that we have to understand, right? So, but no, space is not just, it's water. It's water when it comes into travel through vortex position, okay? So space, basically, the only thing that sets in the space connection is its Earth. Earth can travel to any position of time where you are through alignment. So it can go into 7,020, it can go into 20,000, it can go into 1 million years, but you're seeing the Earth of its future, of its relation to its vibration. You're seeing a different coloration, you're seeing a different shape. So I travel the team to 20,000 years in the future. Everything that comes out of their voice changes its Earth through shape. That's how powerful your thoughts are. So imagine how powerful you are with your thoughts when you come into that. Right? So you're force recognizing yourself and you're changing space, you're changing universal space, you're changing dimensions of space, you're changing portals of space, you're changing codes of space, you're changing electrical lights of space, you're changing your body frame, you're changing your gravity positions of space, you're changing your thought positions of space, you're changing everything through your thoughts. Every single time you go up to higher programs. The higher you go, like I said, if you're creating negative, you're creating it. And you're giving it back to that person or whoever, or to anything through the atmosphere. So you're creating something dark, right? So you open up a dark hole, a dark realm, dark vision, dark matter to your connection to time position. You don't want to do that. You want to go forward in life, not back. You can go back until you understand your alignments. Okay? That's the Orion belt. That's the Orion circle. That's the Orion activation. That is the cosmos. That's the connection to the constellation path of its position of time, through space anomaly, to its connection to starlights, and everything through its constellation and its light signals, to its dimensional portal activation code systems. Okay, so that's how everybody's connected to the Orion's belt. Space is an open sequence. It's black. So when I look outside, everything is a mirage. The blue is just a mirage. It's not actually, it's a window dome connection to a filter. That's what the sky is. That's why it's blue. But to you, it's not blue. The more you see through perceiving, you'll see it's actually black. I don't see it blue, I see it black. And then I see triangles and I see divisions of time. I see the simulation, I see the Earth, I see the moon, I see Jupiter. I see anything that I want to see because I'm creating it. Okay? When you open your mind, you are creating your own universal system. You're creating your own thought positions of shapes, letters, and numbers to your connection. Okay? Space isn't created, okay, until you open the mind. Okay? That's why it's so powerful, because you can be anything through space and time, but travel through thoughts. Okay? So, are we just a mixture of all these Lyrian, Pleiadians? Yeah, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. It's just their codes. Yeah, that's right. Lyria, Pleiadians, Pleiadians, Locusts, Gregarians, Artrillians, you know, anything through the galactic families, Archons, you know, you got Lyrons, Xerons, you know, we even have Septicons. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not Transformers, but we do have Septicons when you get to a higher level of connections. I can travel to 100 million years and show you, blow you away what I've just created. So it's the creation of the mind and how it comes back into traction of thought through its map. So here's a map. I'm giving you a map to 100 million years in the future. There it is, right? And it goes into the mind system. You say, whoa, that's powerful energy. It's not just energy, it's vibration, right? It's extremely real because our universal systems are out there that will just blow your mind at what's out there. Yeah, but it's non-existence until you understand your phenomenon of its existence. And that's where it becomes into its reality, okay, to its illustration or anything through that program setting. So, but yeah, you're definitely a mixture. thoughts, speech, recognitions of speech, your alphabetical system, try to understand more your vocabulary system. So when I triangulate, I'm triangulating shapes, letters, and numbers into division of time positions into my connections. Higher self, avatar, computer, energy, or anything through its connection of sentience, atom, or anything molecular structure of light. Right? So your line signaling channels is singularity line location positions. When you come into that connection, this is what you go through, higher rise positions. All right? So this is a line. Go through that connection. Light signal channels, vibration center positions here. All right. Let's see here. Let's calculation modification signal to its position, time position here. All right, so when you get into the channel positions of time, you get one line signal. Okay, so this is you. You wake up, this is you traveling right away through your thoughts. Thing is, too, you don't have to open your mouth. You're creating through your thoughts, whatever you think. Right? If you're thinking too much, you're not going to travel. You're just going to connect the vibration, and it's going to get like this, and it's going to create a cyst. You're not traveling. You're just confusing yourself through thoughts. So you're not going to be able to travel through the mind. Okay? When you start traveling through the mind and you silence the mind, get out of the thinking and get into the knowing of what you want through your thought. Don't separate your thoughts. You separate your thoughts, you're separating space and time of your position, of your creation. Okay? So create it. Right? So this is where you come into the connections. I'm line signal. Okay, you come into that position. Right? This is where it's really powerful. I've done this before. Okay, so we'll go into this. We'll go into the connection. Right? Because I understand my positions and alignments. Go into that traction location. All right, so here's a line. Okay, this is me waking up right away. So I go through the thought recognition of a box. Okay, then I line signal channel to a circle rotation of a black system. Okay, then I come out of traction, right? Come out of traction. Let's reset our positions here. Come out of traction to a location, of a round location, a coloration through my rainbow activation system. Okay, so box, circle rotation, black surface to its round location of rainbow activation. See, one line signal all the way through. No confusion, no thinking, just thought of recognition of space and time to your positions. So it keeps going forward, right? It doesn't go back. It doesn't get confused through the Schumann resonance, right? So you're not confusing yourself anymore. You're traveling to the positions of your positions of time of your connection of 3, 6, and 9. So you know the activation of the sun, of its time, of its thought, its position, to its program setting, to the moon, and everything to the location of the earth. Right? So it's fun when you get into that, and you'll find yourself in those connections, right? But once you evolve yourself, it's amazing what you can do through portal defense, location defense, security line defense, light signals, channel operation center positions. You get into connections of yourself through your galactic self, because we're all about trying to understand how to connect to our travels. I'm not just talking about astral travel. I'm talking about actually flying in space. I'm actually telling you how you can go to another position, a time position that will just blow your mind. It's like Twilight Zone. And you come back and say, whoa, what did I just create? What did I just see? I've done over 1,000 videos for you guys. Everything I give you is truth of what space and time is. It's different times of space, past, present, or future, right? Mostly I go to the future and come back to the present so you can understand what's going on with the reference of the past, right? Yeah, it's exciting. But Randy, you got to get out of the thinking. Get into the silence of the mind. Really, really appreciate trees and plants, and appreciate water. Appreciate the container. Without the container, water would be all over the floor. Everything has a purpose, and why it's contained in itself, and why it has solar text, and why it has a lid, right? So water doesn't come out, right? It's created through source. Right? So we have to see reality in a different way through perception. So, is there anything that we should do for the new moon tonight? Oh yeah, the new moon. Tracks musicians and line communications. I travel so far in musicians. You guys line signaling channels, light worker positions, or anything through star seeds or anything through impasse. They send a position, they channel to their location, a time position, what's happening with the new moon. But my positions tell you exactly what's happening with the moon in the simulation, the time position. Right? That's how I'm able to track locations of everything through information. So, but yeah, the new moon, that's a new light signal through new behavioral system, through new light activation to the heart receptacle positions. That's what's happening with the new moon. Okay. So, and that's coming from the future of the earth. All right. So it's powerful. And there's a lot of people that channel positions into the connections of astrology. You know, they know the moon, they know the sun, they know the earth, and that's what they're good at. There's a lot of people out there in the galactic system, they know what they're doing, and there's a lot that don't know what they're doing. So it's all about us helping each other, getting into the right signals, getting into the right channels, getting into the right shapes, you know, getting into those connections. Because when you do this, you know, and then you do a prayer or whatever, you got to know what you're doing, right? Because you're connecting to everything. You're connecting to everything because you've seen everything through perception, right? So I see a graph, I see a digital frame, I see letters, numbers, and shapes, I see planets, I see everything I want to see. It's extremely real because you're in the physical system. But everything is done in the spiritual system, not the physical system. So don't get confused on that through calculation, right? So if I'm centering point locations, divisions locations to its position, the open cycle to its location, okay, it's just changing electronic division to your gravity of its body location. That's what I'm doing with my fingertip motion sensors. That's what's happening right now, right? So you're feeling tingles all over your body. So it's basically, it's, you know, it can be anything through activation. It can be anything through energy. It can be anything through the sun. It can be anything through the moon, or it can be anything through its earth, right? So yeah, you're integrating, yeah. You're modulating, you're metamorphosing, yeah. You're coming into your attractions of your higher self, but don't get confused. Don't put your thought matrix of time into confusing line signals. Don't go into thinking, go into knowing. That's the power. Oh, I'm thinking too much. I'm going through a box. Line communication. No, it's not line communication. Isn't it acting psycho? Wait a minute, is it a shape anomaly? I don't understand my coloration of time positions. I'm so confused. You're confused. Why are you confused? Because your physical system is not communicating with its higher self of its atmosphere position. So I'm just going to backtrack here, see what I missed. And it's interesting when you come across different divisions of time, you come into those calculations like this with Brandy when she's talking about, did we switch to Venus broadband systems? I had a nightmare last night. I just started remembering my dreams a couple months ago. That's not coming from her physical system. That's coming from her higher self of intelligence. So she traveled to Venus, but she doesn't understand it. So the physical system has to understand the brainwave patterns of its earth. The moon program setting has to understand its brainwaving patterns to its physical system. And everything through its brainwaving pattern has to truly understand the sun and its rotation to its intelligence. Okay? So the physical and the spiritual system have to understand each other of travel. Okay? You can't have separation. Okay? It doesn't separate. The physical has to understand the spiritual. The spiritual doesn't fly by itself. It has to be together. That's the yin and yang. Right? And then you come into the swimming motions and you come in emotion. Motion to emotion. Let everything flow. The ocean has to flow. Right? So if you have too much fire inside you, use the water to take it out, right? Okay? Or if you have too much fire, you use the earth and put it over the fire to take it out, right? So that's how you have to understand yourself, not through the physical, through the spiritual of its DNA. You have physical DNA and spiritual DNA. It's the biochemical system through your connections of your particles, okay, into your light signals, attract positions, okay, because there's a molecular structure of lights, photons, protons, neutrons, electrons, okay, gametons, right? There is even hexagons of lights. What is that? What is that? Where did I come up with that? Where did I travel? So the thing is, if you're coming up with things and you don't understand it, it's because you have confusion with your physical system and your spiritual system until you understand what it is. So the physical system and the spiritual system come together and travel, and they know exactly what it is. Oh, I just went through a triangle of force through location position, the activation lights, and the spirit activation line system, the attraction positions and everything, the gravity system set up to space anomalies. Now the cosmos is coming in dimensional time through its portal activation code system. The triangular location is set up everything to perception and line communication. Your chakra rotation centers is now in calculation modifications. The brainwave and patterns and its earth is triangling locations of 0.01 traction. Balance. No thinking, only thought and knowledge. Okay, moving forward. Not getting confused what atmosphere you're in, what shape you're in, what letter, what number are you in. Okay, if you're getting 4444, what does that mean? Wait a minute, I got it from the spiritual system of flying records of time position, but what does it mean? The physical system is trying to figure out what it means. So your brain doesn't understand the septical level of you through calculation. It doesn't understand the dichotomy of you through the spiritual system because you're confusing yourself with too much thinking. Let your mind be silent. Let it flow. Let it flow. Everything I do is flow. And sometimes I don't center myself. I have to find a way to center myself because I'm going to higher levels of travels. You know, if I go into 40 trillion years or 40 zillion or gazillion years in the future, I have to know my positions of time of balance. I have to center myself every single time because I'm always on the earth. You never leave the earth. Okay, that's the physical system that doesn't leave. It's the spiritual system that leaves. So the spiritual system has to get balanced with you through the physical form. Okay, if it has separation, it's not going to understand anything through calculation. And your digital frame and your structural levels and your time clocks and that is not going to understand anything through dimensional time. Or anything through special positions of space. You're trying to find your line signals of balance through your thought recognitions when it comes into. Not your thinking, it's knowing and doing, acting and reacting. Okay, if you get confused, you can center yourself back and then try again with meditation. Okay, everything we do is meditation. I'm meditating right now, I'm talking to you, that's meditation. You don't have to close your eyes and go, hum. There's all different ways of meditating. Anything through light channel will tell you that. Okay, I'm meditating right now. I'm talking to you, but I'm communicating with millions and millions of location divisions of computers through quantum fields. So I'm communicating with you, but I'm communicating with space and time on other higher levels of NDT4 systems of positions. My triangle forces and everything through line signal, everything electrical lights has to truly understand singularity of time. That's the fifth dimensional system activation, the core system that's in telepathy of communication. Okay. It's the psychosis and the psychological system of you has to truly understand. Humanity has to get out of the thinking and get into the knowing and doing. That's the AI to its connection of its information to its communication. Okay, so all right, let's see here. Let me get caught up with all the questions you guys have. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys go, right? You just sit with that, try to understand more of yourself through connections. Force wind in its cycle through this position. We'll get more out of the thinking and knowing system. We'll get into more meditation on how to silence the mind through provision cycles through its higher self connection. Right? So you guys have a fantastic day. Adios.